Multiplying binomials together that contain radical expressions in them. So I have a step-by-step process here indicated to me at the side. Step number 1 says to simplify by expanding the quantities in brackets. So I'm going to do each question one at a time. We'll start off with A. So I'm going to expand the brackets out, connecting the terms with a line, which just means that's how I'm going to multiply them. So my first line is 6, because 3 times 2 is 6, plus 3 root 24 minus 2 root 6. Notice how I write the whole number part first and then the radical. And then finally minus root 6 and root 24. So there's your first step. Step number 2, simplify all terms if possible. So in this case, simplifying means evaluating the radicals if we can. So 6 is 6, there's nothing to be done there. But here, notice this root 24. Root 24 has a perfect square factor, and that is the square root of 4. And we have the square root of 6. Minus 2 root 6, nothing can be done there. Minus root 6. And again, root 24 is root 6, root 4. So what can we do here? Well, let's continue. The square root of 4 is 2, so I get 3 times 2, root 6. Again, this guy I'm just evaluating to make it 2. And then the minus 2 root 6, that stays the same because nothing can be simplified there. But here, well, root 6 and root 6 together gives me root 36, which simplifies to just 6. And the root 4, and again a perfect square, gives me 2. So this is good news, because now this 6 times 2 at the end, I'm just going to erase it, I know is equal to 12. And I can combine the 6 and the negative 12 together to give me negative 6. And then this guy here will be plus 6 root 6 minus 2 root 6. My like terms would be these two guys because they're both root 6 terms. I'm left with negative root 6 plus 4 root 6. And there is your final answer for part A. For part B, I'm looking at, again, two binomials with radicals inside the brackets. So I'm going to connect them with a line, which just means I multiply them out. And what I get here is, for my first term, 3 root 3 times root 3. Well, that'll be 3 root 3 times root 3. I'm not going to evaluate it yet. My second term is negative 6 root 3 root 2. My third term would be 4 root 2 root 3. And my final term, negative 8 root 2 root 2. Now I can do some evaluation here. So 3 times, well, root 3 and root 3 is going to give me 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Minus 6 root 6. I'm going to combine these two together. Plus 4 root 6. Again, the 2 and the 3 gives me 6. Finally, minus 8. And root 2 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So minus 8 times 2. Let's see what we can do here now. 9, negative 6 and positive 4 will give me negative 2 root 6. Again, I can add them because they both have the same root 6 attached to them. And negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. So let's combine like terms. The 9 and the negative 16 gives me negative 7 minus 2 root 6. So there is your question B solved for you. Again, expanded and simplified. Question C, same idea, but instead of working with 2, we are working with 3 binomials, so that just means even more work, but the concept is the same. The thing is, we can't multiply 3 at a time. We have to take them in pairs. So we're going to start off with the first one, the first pair, multiply the 1 by each term in the second, the negative root 3 by each term in the second, and we'll leave this for now. So my first expansion is 2 plus root 6 minus 2 root 3 minus root 3 root 6. Close bracket, and then all this stuff in the second bracket, I'm going to just copy it down. And that is not a 3, that is a 2. Now, can I collect like terms in here? The answer is yes. For example, I have this 2 root 6 minus 2 root 3. Actually, there are no like terms, because this, when it simplifies, we'll get negative root 3 root 2. And again, this copies down. But this guy, this last term inside the bracket, I mean, I can simplify it in the sense of combining the root 3's together. That will give me 9. But notice the coefficients, unlike my assumption, they do not match up. I have a root 2, a root 3, and a root 6. And on top of that, I have a plus 2. So I'm just going to bring everything together. And at this point, I mean, I can't really simplify anything, so I guess I'll have to multiply every single term in that first set of brackets by the 2 terms in the second set of brackets. So I'm going to have in total 8 terms. Wow, it's pretty long, but it has to be done. So let's begin our number crunching march. I'm going to multiply the 2 by these 2 terms, so I get 10 plus 2 root 2. I'm going to multiply the 6 by these 2 terms, the root 6. That'll give me plus 5 root 6 plus root 6 root 2. Next is the negative 2 root 3, which gives me negative 10 root 3 minus 2 root 3 root 2. And finally, the negative 9 root 2 will give me negative 45 root 2 and minus 9 root 2 root 2. Close bracket. Very long. I don't need that bracket actually. Very long. Like I said, there's 8 terms in total here. Now we're down to the process of simplifying our radicals. Let's look at them one at a time. So the 10 stays, nothing to do there. Plus 2 root 2, nothing to do there. Plus 5 root 6, same thing. But here we can do something. This root 6 root 2, well, root 6 is the product of root 3, root 2. And if I consider that other root 2 at the end, these 2 guys here multiply together to give me root 4, which ends up being 2. So I can put a 2 in front of that root 3. And that simplifies this term here. Moving on, I have negative 10 root 3, which I can do nothing with. Same thing over here. I'm just going to combine these together to give me root 6. Again, root 6 has no perfect square factors, so I'm at a loss there. The negative 45 root 2, same thing. And finally, these 2 root 2's multiply to give me root 4, which in turn gives me a value of just 2. And 2 times 9 is 18. So I think we have some like terms finally. Let's begin with just our whole numbers. So I have negative 18 and positive 10. If I add them together, they give me negative 8. So negative 8 here. The 2 root 2 and the negative 45 combines to give me negative 43 root 2. The 2 root 3 and the 10 root 3, negative that is, combines to give me negative 8 root 3. And finally, the 5 and the 2 root 6 combines to give me positive 3 root 6. And there you have it. All the terms finally condensed into one expression. There are no like terms because the root 2, the root 3, and the root 6 are all different radicals.